Hello and welcome to the Three Will Podcast. This is your host, Danny Ryan, and today I'm here with Rob Horton, Senior Consultant for Three Will. How's it going, Rob?
It's going well.
Awesome. And we've done one podcast before, so just one where we introduced you to the world.
That's right, just a Get to Know Rob podcast.
Awesome. I love those. So now we get to have some fun with either talking about maybe a process topic or a technology topic. I think today, I guess we can announce to the world that you're our sustainment lead, which is congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck. Godspeed to you.
Appreciate it.
I'm not sure what else to say, but thank you for taking on that role. I know it's an important part of our business, and lots of good things to go after. It's the closest we have to reoccurring revenue. So Tommy and I definitely appreciate you taking this on.
Well, I appreciate the challenge. It's there's a lot that goes into it. Mm-hmm. A lot of just a lot of processes that we're trying to put in place, and we got some great people that do sustainment, and other folks within the Three Will team have been stepping up and helping out. So.
That's awesome. And we, so one of the things I'd like to talk to you, and I've seen a couple of Yammer posts about this, and has come up recently. I'm pretty familiar. I'm not a Scrum Master, but I'm very familiar with Scrum. And one of the topics you've been bringing up recently is Kanban. And I don't know if you could give maybe let's just turn this into like a primer on Kanban, sort of what is, why are we looking at it? What is it? Just keep it at a 10,000 foot level, but can you just give me sort of an introduction to what it is?
Sure, I can tell you what I know of Kanban.
That's fine.
There's certainly other folks out there that are, probably more versed in it. But when we talk about things like sustainment and incident management, things like receiving tickets for work or problems or enhancements, it's doesn't lend itself necessarily that well to Scrum, but it is definitely, we can definitely approach it as an Agile process. Mm-hmm. And another sort of flavor of Agile is Kanban, and Kanban is a little bit more straightforward of a process where if you can picture a Kanban board where you have different columns.
Okay.
And each activity that you have goes on into one of those columns.
Okay.
And you usually work from left to right. As you complete a particular type of task, you move that activity from one column to the next. So to put it in perspective from a incident management perspective, we would have a ticket that comes in and it would need triaging. Triage would be one of our columns in Kanban, be our first column actually. Uh-huh. Where we would just look at that incident, trying to determine who the client is. We might classify that incident. Is it a priority one? Something broken within the client's environment? Is it an enhancement request, which may be a lower priority? But anyway, we would categorize information on that ticket, and then we would put it into the next column in our Kanban board, which may be a queue.
Okay.
So then it would be available for someone else to take, and as they would, we would view that queue as available work, and if they had a capacity, they would pull that out of the queue and put it into their own, take ownership of it, put it into their own queue, and then they would work it through to completion. Mm-hmm. And what's good about Kanban is if we go back to that board and we have those columns or queues, and we pull items from one column to the next, you can set thresholds or limits.
Okay.
For what they consider your work in progress. And that way, if there is an issue, say our queue gets too full and we're not pulling enough items out of it because there's a threshold that says I can only own 10 tickets at a time, we would very quickly see that there was a bottleneck.
Okay.
And what they like to call attacking a bottleneck as a swarm, and that may mean that multiple resources that aren't normally pulling from the queue are alerted, and they'll step in and help alleviate that bottleneck.
Nice. So it sounds like Kanban is sounds like it's more for like a steady state of and not knowing when. I think with a lot of our portals and app dev projects, and we also talked. I think it's interesting to talk about this because we talked about using Scrum on migration projects, which it seems to work in the beginning, but then there's some things that break down where maybe it is more like a steady state type of process. But this sounds like it's if you don't know, if you can't plan out the work, this seems to deal more with that type of work where it could be coming in at any point in time.
Yeah, it lends itself very well to that. If it's migrations, we talk about that as a water scrum fall process. So,
water scrum fall. Nice.
But for incident management, you're right. We don't know. We have an idea how many incidents we might receive, but we really don't know.
Uh-huh.
So there's no pre-planning that we can do. All we can do are set these thresholds for our work in progress, our WIP activities, and when those thresholds are threatened, we can take action. And it also lends itself for activities that are similar in size. So we have a good idea that most of our tickets are going to take, we have a range of time or effort that it's going to take to resolve those. And Kanban works very well with similar sized activities. So.
Well, our marketing department, we use water scrumban. I don't know if you're familiar with that process at all.
No.
It takes the best from all three processes and it combines it into one.
It's very good.
It's amazing. We'll have that. That's a topic for another day. So this is so you're dealing with tickets coming in. It sounds like you're also sort of trying to tie together a little bit of technology with this process. Is that correct?
That's correct. So we have a ticket management system that we use, and while we don't end up with a true Kanban board, we can apply that process by using queues. One of the other things we do to keep those activities similar in size, which again lends itself very well to Kanban, is if we receive, say, an enhancement request from a client, we would pull that out and create a backlog item for it and sort of take it out of that incident management process. And then we would manage that backlog item, using a standard Scrum approach that we do on many of our implementation projects.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Anything else sort of at a high level primer or a type of conversation that you'd have to add to this?
I think that covers it fairly well. We're excited to be implementing this approach, and I'm certain that over time we're going to learn quite a bit from it, and
awesome,
and make modifications to it too. So that's the other thing. It's really, that's Agile in general. Mm-hmm. Is as things change or as your needs change, you have a lot of knobs you can turn.
Excellent. Well, you are now on the queue to do a quarterly podcast with me, so I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Now you get to come in, and you're a regular part of the team here, and going to be able to do these once a quarter. So I look forward to seeing you. At least you got to drop by once every 3 months and come and talk to me.
That's quite all right. Look forward to it.
Great. Thank you, Rob, and congratulations again on taking the lead. And I wish you the best of luck with that. And it's a really important part of our business. And just thank you for raising your hand and volunteering to do that.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to listen to this. And feel free to drop by freewill.com, and we'll have a transcript of this podcast there. And leave any comments if you are supporting a managed services support type of organization, and maybe where you're using Kanban. We'd love to hear back from you. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.